So, anti-Israel protesters marched through the streets of New York City on the anniversary of October the 7th, while Democratic mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani, in a statement, acknowledged Hamas committed war crimes, but went on to say, quote, in the aftermath of that day, Prime Minister Netanyahu and the Israeli government launched a genocidal war, adding, our government has been complicit through it all. Let's bring in Denise Cohen. She's a New York resident, also graduated from Columbia University, where a lot of these protests have been. Thank you so much for joining the program.
Thanks for having me.
Let's go straight to the statement, because he spent 2 sentences condemning the violence that took place on October the 7th. But then he gives an entire dossier for 3 more paragraphs.
Yeah. Very similar to what he did right after the original October 7th, back to 2 years ago. This statement is fascinating because of the backlash. He has a pinned tweet from a year ago. This has way more views than it. It's up to 16 million views when I last checked. And interestingly enough, there are almost 10,000 comments, most of which are very negative. And they've been geotagged. Most of them are from New Yorkers. So it is kind of fascinating, the outrage that this statement of his has sparked.
Being a Jew in New York City, explain the impact of these protests. They're, in many cases, are extremely anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
You're Jewish, but there's some people within your community that still support Mamdani. Explain that to us.
Well, it's very hard to explain. It doesn't make any sense to me. And quite honestly, the well-accepted definition of anti-Semitism includes anti-Zionism, which is the right to Jewish self-determination in a land of our own, Israel. So anything that is anti-Zionist is actually anti-Semitic. So when you look at the progressive Jews, and it's only the progressive Jews who are, like leftist activists, that are pro-Palestinian. And this is the same group of people that Mamdani has met with. So they are not supporters of Israel. You cannot be pro-Palestinian with Hamas running Gaza and think that there's any hope to have both a Palestinian state and the state of Israel. It's impossible.
It's not congruent. The Foreign Ministry responded to that statement that Mamdani gave. They said this 2 years after Hamas launched its barbaric massacre against Israel and the Jewish people. Mamdani has chosen to act as a mouthpiece for Hamas propaganda, spreading Hamas fake genocide campaigns by repeating Hamas lies. He excuses terror and normalizes anti-Semitism. He stands with Jews only when they are dead. Shameful. What do you make of that statement?
Well, it's the Israeli Foreign Ministry, and they're right. And he has been consistent with this position of his. The statement yesterday was very self-serving. It's a painful day for Jews and human beings across the world, quite honestly. Anybody who believes in Western values and life. So it is kind of sickening that he tries to associate with the Jewish community by pretending to care. He does not care. And it goes as far back as his days at Bowdoin College, when he co-founded that chapter for Students for Justice in Palestine. And he has been consistent throughout. He is clearly the most anti-Semitic mayoral candidate New York has ever seen.
So what do you do if he becomes mayor? Because the mayor sets the tone for a lot of things in this city. What's next?
It's kind of horrifying, and a lot of people are looking at leaving. Now, I don't believe in that. I think we stay, we fight. I don't want to get pushed out of my home. Yes, I'm a Jew, but I'm also a New Yorker, and I'm an American, and, we have to deal with this. If he wins, and let's hope he has, like, a Howard Dean Shriek moment where he disqualifies himself, but it looks likely that he's going to win. Where do we go next?
Are you disappointed with Schumer not coming out forcefully? He's the highest-ranking Jewish member of Congress in history, actually. He's a senator, and he's essentially had no comment on this. He's not endorsing him, but he's not telling people or speaking with moral clarity to say, this guy is against my very existence.
Right. Well, the Democratic leadership has been abysmal on this. Also, Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader in the House, hasn't said anything.
That's right.
And it seems like, I guess the common thinking is that they're just terrified of the left wing of their party, which is being taken over by the Democratic Socialists of America by design. It's actually part of their charter or their political platform or whatever it is, that they're going to be Democratic Socialists and they're going to take over the party from within. And they just had their convention in August where they passed this resolution to become as anti-Zionist as they can. and they side with Palestinian causes, meaning the right to return from the river to the sea. That's the language in the resolution. And any member of the DSA that doesn't actively support it will be expelled. And as you know, this group is the one that has endorsed Mamdani and pushed him to these new heights.
It's shameful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.